This is Deeper One, your certified master life coach and digital consultant, coming with you another video, because it's been a minute since I put out a video. So, doing a YouTube video today. We're going to talk about what is wrong with dating and relationships. But a little housekeeping before we get it popping. On the bottom of the screen, you see the ticker. This is where you can go and find me on the interwebs. Go look me up, Deeper One, where I'm at, IG, Facebook. I have a Facebook group called The Deeper Ones. My Patreon, The Deeper Ones. As you can see down at the bottom here. Please go follow me, comment, engage, like my content. I would appreciate it. It's free to like a brother's content. And if you want to donate, my Cash App is right there too. Just pop on through. There we go. There we go. Pop on through. I would appreciate it. It's a lot of work keeping this content up for y'all. My day ones, and y'all know who you are, the Deeper Ones. I appreciate y'all. Those of you that come on the live and you be on every one of my IG lives and everything. And I just wanted to say before I get started, I'm going to be at YouTube more. And I'm going to be at YouTube more because IG has been messing with me. I was in IG jail for 30 days. I couldn't do any lives. I couldn't do any IGTVs. I'm back, but they're only limiting my lives to 1 hour and limiting my IG TV videos to 15 minutes. So you have to be ready and popping for when things like that happens. So I'm going to leverage YouTube right now. So we on YouTube. So y'all please come subscribe to the show on YouTube. I would appreciate it. Now let's get into the topic. Oh, yeah. Let's get into the topic. Why are dating and relationships trash today? Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of people don't understand why. And they're walking around asking why. Why can't I find a good man? Why can't I find a good woman? And what we have going on out here right now is a lot of people pointing a lot of fingers at everybody else but themselves as to why dating and these relationships are trash, why they're failing. There's a few reasons why, and we're going to touch into them today. And understand, I know some of the things I'm going to say is going to hurt some feelings. But they need to be said. They need to be said. They need to be addressed. Because we have to stop asking and wondering why without getting the right answer. I'll check into that. Without getting the right answer. So today I'm going to give you some of the answers. And some of these answers are going to require you as a person to really take a deep look inside self and figure out your role as into why your relationships haven't been working, why you're attracting what you attract, why dating is terrible out here. Let's get busy. Number one of the main reasons dating and relationships is trash today is because people are obsessed with what should be, and they have their idea of what should be instead of what is. And this is big. I mean, honestly, every other reason that I was going to give, I could encompass it. I can umbrella it under this one. No cap. I can. And I can because what I see a lot of, especially ladies, I'm sorry ladies, but I got to get into these truths. I have to. Somebody's got to. I see a lot of you ladies talking about how you think things should be. How you think the relationship should be. How do you think men should be in relationships? How do you think men should act? You thinking men should provide? I hear a lot of what ladies think should be instead of what is. in addition to that, not taking a look at themselves and see themselves as a contributing factor as to why they're having trouble finding a suitable partner. That's a lot of what's going on right now. And some of you not going to want to admit it. Some of you might think, oh, well, he's just being hard on women right now. No, because I got smoke for the men too. But the men don't talk about it as much. The men aren't yelling as loud as women are. So that's why we hitting y'all first, because y'all scream this the loudest all day, every day. I can go through 20, 30 posts a day of something about a man being the wrong one on these things. And so we're going to get into it. So what we're going to get into is I'm going to break down truths, things that are true, things that is, okay? Things that are is and that's not going to change. And the reason that we're going to do this, ladies, is I am teaching you, this is advanced stuff. This is advanced curriculum in my courses and what I'm going to be doing with y'all. This is advanced. See, a lot of people just want to dance over the superficial. They don't really want to get into the stuff. They want to get into what they think is the deal, even though it really isn't. And argue and battle over that. I just had a back and forth with a woman about what an alpha male is. And, we'll touch into that a little bit. We'll touch into it in a little bit. Now, let's talk about what is. All right. Let's reference recent events. Okay. Let's reference recent events. Now, we're in February. Last month, many of you, some may not, saw the Kevin Samuels video about the woman, average at best. He's blown up, so now a lot more people are talking about him, watching his show, talking about the things that he tells women. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't always agree with his delivery, but I don't have to. I still like the man's content. I still like what he's telling you, ladies, and a lot of what he's telling you is true. And it's not only true with high value men. Now, my issue with the whole high value principle is that too many people are labeling themselves as high value when they're not. See, too many think that they are within that. Too many within what he sees and defines a high value man. Because everybody defines it a little bit differently. But we're not all in that category. Some of us are average. Some of us are above average. Hell, some of us are below average. We don't all fit within that. But a lot of the principles that he gives can apply to average men. There are average men that don't want to deal with certain things. There's a lot of us, actually. Below average men will have to deal with things that they don't want to deal with. But average and above really don't have to. And what we're finding out and what's coming out more lately with the MGTOW movement and red pill and all the different color pills, red pill, blue pill, purple pill, pink pill, black pill, all that, everybody's kind of got their own principle of this dating game and this relationship game. You've got your incels, you got your femcells, everybody's got opinions. Now, I don't take a particular side. I believe in the dynamics between two people, between male and female. I believe that there's a certain... I believe with men and women, it's a transaction of leader and follower. Men lead, women follow. Now, this is where people are going to get upset, and this is where we get into what should be as opposed to what is. Now, before I continue, I'm going to say this. I don't want a lot of people coming back in the comments, arguing with me about what is. Because what is what is. And it would be a waste of your time and wasting your breath arguing about what you think it should be instead of accepting what is. Let's get started with that. What I'm seeing a lot of in dating is women have some very high expectations. Okay? Very high. Some women, they're through the roof. They're impossible. Some of you want a unicorn, a two-headed unicorn. Some type of mystical creature is what you're asking for. And some of what women want in relationships, it's contradictory. One day it's one thing, another day it's another. For instance, today I was watching a live, and it was a live on somebody I follow on YouTube. And it was a live where this guy, he got a lot of backlash for what he said in a previous video where he was interviewing a woman. And apparently what he said was a little harsh, and people had an issue with it, and he had a lot of women come for him in regards to what he said. And I almost commented. I almost commented on the live to say what I kind of felt could have been added to it, but I decided not to. I just, I didn't want to get part of that drama, so I didn't say anything. But in summary, as to the conversation was basically, the woman divorced the man because she said she didn't feel like she was being heard. Okay, even though he was doing the providing. She didn't work. He was a provider. It was basically his way, the highway. He's got all the leverage. He's calling the shots. And she took issue with that. Okay? She took issue with it. And so I imagine that she got to the point where she's had conversations with him about certain things, and it fell on deaf ears, obviously, to the point where she had to divorce him. So there were a lot of women in the comments talking about, well, there's more to this than the financial and money and this and that and the other and providing. And one of the things that I thought about, that I thought was a little bit contradictory, is that if you look at social media today and you talk to women today, you'll see that this is what ladies you lead with. A lot of you lead with money. Come on. Watching the Kevin Samuels show, right there alone, these women coming on saying they need a man that makes over $100,000 a year, and just the requirements that they have with this man, all the city girl, sweetie shit, you know what I'm saying? Money, money, money. The focus is on money. You got to pay my bills. You got to buy me this. Well, see, one of the things you guys aren't understanding, and this is where the problem lied in this particular live with these ladies, is that if you want a man to lead, you're going to have to deal with some things that accompany that. Now, some men are on that, okay, well, if I'm leading, I'm taking care of everything, I'm paying all the bills, then you play by my rules. You're on my program, what I say goes, and that's pretty much it. And so I'm imagining this is what this man was doing. And she had an issue with that. And so a lot of the women were coming for him because he's saying, well, wait, hold up. Well, he had to have been like that before you decided to marry him. He had to have been. And so they were going for his neck. But the point is that is what was in that relationship. See, her whole argument and her whole point was based on how she felt the relationship should have been, the dynamic should have been, instead of what was. And this is, again, and I can't stress it enough, this is where a lot of you kind of get yourselves screwed up. Because you have an idea of something that you think should be, and that should fully benefit you. So in this case, to her, she should have been able to be the stay-at-home wife that she wanted to be and be fully taken care of that she wanted. But she wanted a bunch of other things to be her way. It doesn't always work out like that. Now, I'm not here to judge whether to say it's right or wrong or not. That's not the conversation. That's not what we're talking about. It's what we're talking about is her understanding this is what it is. And we don't know anything about their marriage. We don't know if he communicated this is what the dynamic was going to be in the marriage or not. We have no idea. What I'm here to do is I'm here to educate you on these things so you can be prepared for the next man that you meet that may be on some of the stuff that I'm talking about. To get you ready. To help you understand and be able to accept what is and not what you think it should be. So she thought it should have been a certain way, and he was like, no, I'm taking care of everything. So it's my way. You know, she had these grandiose ideas of what she thought her husband should be, that she imagined in her head, that he should be her best friend. He should sit and listen to her, vent, every day and this and that. She had these visions of what she thought it should be, but it wasn't. And she was disappointed in that. And as a result, the marriage ended because to him, he's like, well, I'm paying the bills. This is the way it's going to be. I'm not really trying to be this. I'm doing what you asked me to do, which was take care of you. And I'm taking care of you. What more do you want? And so she went into everything else that she wanted. And a lot of the ladies co-signed and everything. And this is that situation where you guys feel that a man, a lot of you, now understand, I'm speaking in general terms. I'm not saying that every one of you is like this, but there are a lot of you. There are a lot of you. You want him to be the provider. You want him to be the best friend. You want him to be your girlfriends. You want him to be this. You want him to be all of these things. You want your man to be Superman. But if the moment that he says what he wants from you, we got issues. There's issues. And I don't, there's no fairness in that. So her whole marriage, she walked around of what she thought about what should have been and realized that what should have been wasn't, and decided to divorce him. They didn't have any they didn't go to therapy, they didn't do anything. She just divorced him. Which, I think is premature. I think everybody should exhaust every measure before they have to get to the point of divorce. And therapy is one thing that you should not have skipped. But it is what it is. I'm not going to talk about what she should have did. I'm not going to dwell on that. They didn't go. She divorced him. It is what it is. a lot of people talked about the communication and lack of communication on his part, the lack of communication on her part. Okay, and that's fine. We can go back and forth on that all day. But at the end of the day, we have to look at what is. And what is right now, there's a lot of delusion. There's a lot of high expectations. There's a lot of high standards. There's a lot of miscalculation of value. There is a lot of people thinking time is infinite, that you have all the time in the world to do this, and that you have all of these options, and these options are going to be available to you for an unlimited period of time. There's these thoughts of you don't have to improve yourself to get the kind of person that you want. There's a lot of these things. There's a lot of refusing to accept a lot of things. The refusal to accept what is. And this is what's making dating hard. It's what's making dating hard. Very hard. Very, very hard. Because you've got people that are out here torn, they're out here broken, they're not getting any help in that department. And they're trying to date, and they're trying to use partners to be their therapy, to be therapeutic to them. And people are finding out that does not work. It's not working. And it's not fair to put that on someone else's back to carry. And a lot of us are looking for things, and we want more than we can give back. We want more than we deserve because we think we deserve it because of past failures. And that we should just accept things because that's what we think you should do. And that's setting a lot of us up for disappointment. A lot of disappointment. And instead of sitting down and listening and understanding, okay, this is what it is. I need to be able to work with this. Because some of you you're just throwing in the towel, you're just giving up, and you're like, well, screw that. I'm not. No. This is not for me. I'm not going to do this. It'll change someday. But some of these things aren't going to change, y'all. Some of them ain't going to change. You have to accept it or be single. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. You got to learn to play the game. And the people out here that are walking around here upset and angry at the world about their dating options are the very people that aren't taking the time to do the work, that aren't taking the time to learn and understand the opposite sex, how they're wired, the dynamic between the two, to be able to make dating work for them. A lot of you are refusing to do that, and it's making dating and relationships hard for you. Very hard. So it's time to get it together. It's time to get it together. Last season, I had a series on my podcast called The Hard Truth. And in The Hard Truth, we talked about some hard truths in dating to help ladies, to help you see from a male point of view and perspective on how we view certain aspects and how we view you in the sexual marketplace, in dating. Not enough of you listen to it. I also have a blog post. If you go on deeper.com, I have a blog post that talks about what is the sexual marketplace. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it so you can learn. Yes, there are some of these things that are hard. They're going to be hard to hear. Here's the thing. Men, we've been used to rejection. We've been used to rejection. We've heard so many hard truths about us as men. We're used to it. Ladies, you're not used to it. And when you hear it, you have a difficult time with it. If you say you want honesty, you have to be prepared for the honesty that doesn't necessarily serve you or look at you favorably. You can't pick the honesty that you like, that you just want to hear. You got to hear the good with the bad. You got to hear the bad with the good. They go together. And this is where the struggle becomes. See, some of you are finding out that you're not competitive. Some of you are finding out that your thought process of the way you think men should be dating and what men's options are, you think the way you think of it is correct, and it isn't. You're not realizing that men, especially good men, and understand there is a small percentage of these good men out here. You don't understand that you are competing for a small percentage of men, and women outnumber men almost like 3-1. And you don't want to compete. I'm going to say it again. Kevin Samuels, time after time, is showing, you go watch his videos, and it's showing that, ladies, you don't know men. You're basing your knowledge of men on what you think men should be. And a lot of you think men should be women. You think we should be women, but we should be providing women. We should be providers, but be women. That we should talk to you like women. That you can't have that. You can't have it all. Some of you want it all. And that's why a lot of you having problems, because you want it all and you can't have it all. You can't have it all. You're going to have to make concessions in certain places. You're going to have to understand that you don't have the leverage that you had before. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to believe. But you see, the dudes that's willing to lay up and post up, you got leverage with them. The Dusties, you got leverage with them. The broke dudes, you got leverage with them. But the kind of man that you want, you don't have the leverage for. So you guys are walking around saying, well, I should have the leverage for that. He should be okay with this situation. He should this. He should that. And then you shrug it off and you say, well, I'll find a man that will. If he doesn't, some of you, just some of the responses to that are wild. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm telling you what you should be doing. What you should be doing is studying the men that you want, finding out what it is they like, what they don't like. Find out where your place is in that spectrum. You can't shoot blanks. Some of you out here shooting blanks, you're shooting all over the place. And you got no idea what the target is. You have no idea. You're just blindly shooting out there. And some of you are having a hard time hearing that the kind of man that you like doesn't particularly like some of the things you bring to the table. Some of the things you have to offer. And you talk about, well, it should be like this. Well, you can say it should be like this until the day you die. That's not what is. So are you going to adapt or not? Are you going to decide that you're going to play the game? You're going to be competitive? Or you're not? Many of you don't want to compete. You don't want to compete at all. So you're going to keep meeting men that are below your level, or are not up to your standard. Well, yeah, because you don't have to compete for those men. The men are everywhere. They're easy. Now let's just say that you got one. Let's just say that you got available one you can work with. Okay? Here's the problem. I'm going to say this. Everyone wants a king until they have to bow. I'm going to let that sizzle in your spirit. I'm going to say it again. Everyone wants a king until they have to bow. Now you've got, let's say you got him. You got him. Now you got him, and now you don't want to do what you need to do to keep him. Because a lot of you gals, y'all talk about how many dudes that you can get to lay up, how many dudes that you can get to post up, but not talking about the dudes that you can get to be willing to marry you. You might even have one of these good dudes, and he might, and if you don't listen, if you don't play by his rules, if he feels that you're problematic, you are a disciplinary problem, he'll lay it with you, but he's not gonna wife you. He is not gonna wife you. Trust and believe he is not gonna wife you. And the problem is when you run into dudes like that, then you try to lump them in with the other, lesser quality dudes, and you want to try to lump them all together. Well, he's not going to wife you because you're not what he sees as a wife. And it's your job as a lady, it's you guys' job to show us that you're the best that we can get. The worst position that you could put yourself in, ladies, is the position that you're not the best that he can get. And if he believes you're not the best he can get, he out here, he gonna rock with you. He'll rock with you until he finds what he considers better than you. If he's with you and think he can do better, trust and believe he's got his eye out to see how much better he can do. So y'all need to be focused on what is. And this is what is. This is what is. And what is, a lot of you ladies, especially over 30, once you hit 30, you've hit the wall. If you throw some kids in there, right, you've got, it gets even worse for you. So you got to play this. You got to figure out how you can compete that, how you can play this to your advantage. And I've said this before in other videos, in saying that you're competing with women that are younger, that may not have kids, they may not have the baggage that you have, or baggage at all. And if a man has options for those, why would he choose you? Now, we're not going to get into what you don't like about it. What we're talking about is what is, and that's how men think, and that's how they're thinking. So, how are you going to work with that? You can't change it. So what are you going to do to make yourself valuable enough to him so he doesn't have or believe that he can do better? That's your job to figure out. That's your job to figure out. You can be upset about it, but it doesn't change it. It's not going to change him. And I know a lot of y'all are upset. You know, you don't want to hear it. And some of you don't want to keep hearing it, but you're going to keep hearing it because it's an issue. It's an issue that men are having. And you're going to be single. Hell, I'm not going to say you're going to single. You might find somebody, but you may not find someone on your level because of that. And so you got to be ready to compete. But y'all don't want to compete. And that's why dating sucks. You don't want to compete. You don't want to compete. You don't want to just be willing to play the game the way it needs to be played to win. There are a lot of you that aren't playing to win. You think you should win just by showing up at the table to play. Not realizing that there are other women at the table ready to play to win. And you're just there, twiddling your hands. That's what it is. That is what is. And too many of you are wanting a man to just take you because you're at the table. How are you going to make yourself more valuable or stand out from the other women that are at the table, ready to play, ready to stomp all over you to get this man? Now, some of y'all like to call them pick-me's. But at the end of the day, you're all competing for the same dude. If you're not willing to do anything, you're not going to get him. You're not going to get him. You're just not. And some of you just throw in the towel. You just give up. And I get it. And I get it because a lot of you have been used to your 20s. You've been used to the power that you had in your 20s. Y'all had dudes wrapped around your finger. You used to be able to use, your sexuality to get anything or any man that you want. And you're finding out as you get older that you're not able to do that as much. You're not able to do it as much. It doesn't carry the weight that it had. Now, you throw on the other things that some men don't want to deal with, you're already set back. You got to put yourself in a position to win and say, okay, this is the climate. I know what the climate is. I know what's popping out here. I know if I want to get the kind of man that I want, I need to be prepared to compete. And you have to decide what you are willing to do, what you're willing to endure to get the kind of man that you want. Because what isn't changing. Men aren't changing. They're not going to change. And you have to decide if you're going to get on board or you're not. And the only way that you can do that is by being emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, and ready to be in the game. And there's so many of you that you're not ready to be in the game. You are on the bench. You're not ready to come in. We're not ready to throw you in. You got to put yourself in a position to be a starter. Some of you are keeping yourselves in the position of being third, fourth strings. Some of you just never getting in the game at all. Just warming the bench. Being upset about the way you think it should be isn't going to get you where you need to go. What's going to get you where you need to go is understanding what is and figuring out how you are going to make what is somehow benefit you into getting what you want. If you don't, you might as well just go ahead and step to the side and let the ones that are ready to compete, make them not have to work as hard just by you getting out of the way. That's what is. And this can apply to you too, fellas. You men out here that are complaining about the level of quality of women that you can get, that it's not that great. You're getting the hood rats, you're just getting the undesirables. You're getting the ones that you just would lay up with, that you're not getting ones that are marriage material. It's the same thing. You gotta learn these women. You gotta put yourself in position. You gotta get your money up. You gotta work on your body. You've got things that you need to do as well to get in the game, to get the level of woman that you want. You want to be in a position to be the man that a lot of these women want. You want to have the options. You want to have options. And right now, a lot of you don't have options, and you're just settling because you haven't done the work on you. You're not going to get better until you do better. And this is what's wrong with dating. Everybody is walking around thinking they don't have to do better. They don't have to be better. They just deserve what they deserve because they feel that they're special. And that's not how this game works. It's dog eat dog out here. You want to get the best, then you got to be the best. You got to look the part. You got to get your mind right, fellas. You got to get in the gym, fellas. You got to get your money up, fellas. Ladies, some of the things that unfortunately for you, some of the things that would make you less desirable to a man, you can't do anything about. So you got to focus on the things that you can do something about. If you know a man doesn't like the fact that you got kids, then you better make sure you are 10. You better make sure you're 10. You better make sure that you are in a position to give him everything that you can within reason and within your power to secure that man, to get him to where he feels you are the best that he can get. And you need to be prepared for that. See, a lot of you want these dudes, these good dudes, these dudes with character and drive and integrity. A lot of you want these guys to just want you and want to be with you, and you just give what you think he should take from you instead of what he wants. This is where many of you are going wrong. But this is what I think he should want. He should want this. But he doesn't want that. And then what happens is then you guys are going to have problems. You're walking around saying, well, he should be accepted. Understanding of that. He should. And I see a lot of he shoulds all day, every day. A lot of he shoulds. Just you fellas. Well, she should take me if I'm broke. She should take me if I live at home with my mama, or if I live at home with my baby mama, or whatever. She should be doing this. So there's a lot of he should, she should, but not enough I should. Not enough I should. What you should be doing is doing the work on you to be the best you, so you can go out there and be able to maneuver and position yourself to be able to get the best of what is. That's it. And that's why dating, that is the overall reason why dating sucks today. See, y'all thought I was going to just list a whole bunch of shit and it was just a whole bunch of different shit that weren't connected. No, this is all interconnected. This is a high level of high expectations and people walking around thinking, disappointing themselves because they're looking at everything from what they think it should be as opposed to what is. And until you change your mindset and you get through your head, no, I need to accept this is the way it's popping. How do I play and maneuver myself? You're going to continue to be disappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why dating sucks today. No one wants to do the work. Everybody wants to say they're not playing games. But if you got to say you're not playing games, oh, you playing games. You player one. You player one. Now, you may not think you're playing games. You're playing games, but you're not playing to win. You're playing, but you're setting yourself up to lose. That is going to conclude the show today, y'all. You gotta be ready to play to win. Compete or die. That's what this is out here. Compete or die. I am Deeper One. I am your certified master life coach. If you are interested in booking a session, go to deeperone.com, click the upper right of the screen, the little red box that says consult, get a initial session, discovery session, what it says. I just built a website, y'all, so I don't have it solid and everything and where everything is yet. I just built 2 actually last week. If you want to get some help on how to maneuver, but the first step is acknowledging that you need help. This is the N2D show. This is Deeper One, and I am out.